There is a war happening inside you right now. Not with your boss, not with the economy, not with your family, not with the government, not with the life you were handed. Inside, quietly. Every single day. On one side is the man who wants more. The man who knows he is capable of more. The man who feels it late at night, when everything is quiet, and he cannot lie to himself anymore. On the other side is the man who wants comfort. The man who has built an entire life around avoiding the pain that growth requires. The man with 1,000 intelligent reasons why now is not the right time. These two men share your body. They share your mind. They share your future. And every single day, one of them wins. The question is not whether the war is real. The question is whether you know which side has been winning lately. Stay with me, because by the end of this video, you will know exactly which voice has been controlling your life. Section 1. Most men never name this conflict. And what you cannot name, you cannot defeat. So, let me name it for you. The man who wants more is the builder. He is the part of you that still believes your life is not finished. He wakes up with hunger. He sees the gap between who you are and who you could become. And that gap does not feel like an idea. It feels physical. A pressure in the chest, a quiet anger, a private knowing that your current life is not the full story. The builder says, get up, move, start, train, build. Stop wasting the day. Stop negotiating with the version of you that keeps losing. But then there is the other man, the settler. He is not evil. He is not stupid. He is not even always lazy. He is afraid of failing, afraid of looking foolish, afraid of giving everything he has and discovering it still was not enough. So he does what scared men do. He builds a smaller life and calls it maturity. He lowers the dream and calls it realism. He delays the work and calls it timing. That is what makes him dangerous. The settler does not attack you like an enemy. He advises you like a friend. He says, you are tired today. Rest. You have already done enough. Start next week. Wait until things calm down. Be smart. Do not rush. Protect your peace. And because he sounds reasonable, you listen. But understand this. Not every calm voice inside you is wisdom. Sometimes it is fear wearing a suit. Sometimes it is weakness, speaking an educated language. Sometimes the voice that sounds responsible is the same voice that has been keeping you small for years. And the settler has one weapon that destroys more men than failure ever could. Time. Section 2. Let me tell you about two brothers. Same house, same parents, same neighborhood, same starting point. At 25, both of them wanted more. Both talked about the future. Both had ideas. Both believed life would eventually become bigger than what they knew. But then, they made different choices. The first brother moved before he felt ready. He took the risk, started the business, moved to the city, said yes to the hard thing while his hands were still shaking. He failed, then failed again. He lost money, lost confidence, had nights where he stared at the ceiling wondering if he had made a terrible mistake. But he kept moving. The second brother waited. He took the safe job, stayed comfortable, told himself he was being smart, told himself his time was coming, told himself he just needed the right moment. One day, soon, when things made more sense. 10 years later, they sat at the same family dinner table. The first brother was not a millionaire. He did not have a perfect life. He was not some movie version of success. But there was something in him the second brother noticed immediately. A calmness, a weight, a look in his eyes that only comes from a man who knows he did not abandon himself. He had tried. He had fought. He had given the builder inside him a real chance. The second brother smiled, asked questions, made jokes, acted normal, but inside, something heavy moved, because he knew he had not failed. That would have been easier to accept. He had not even really fought. He was 35 now, still waiting, still planning, still saying his time was coming, still standing in almost the exact same place he stood 10 years earlier. And somewhere between dinner and the drive home, he felt something that had no clean name. Not jealousy, not regret exactly. Something deeper. The pain of realizing that the life you are living was not forced on you. It was chosen, slowly, one delay at a time. That feeling is not random. It is a signal. And if you are honest, you have felt some version of it too. Section 3. The settler's greatest weapon is not fear. It is the illusion of more time. He never says, give up. That would be too obvious. He says, not yet. Later. Soon. When the kids are older. When the job settles down. When money is better. When you are more confident. When you finally feel ready. And because those excuses contain pieces of truth, they do not feel like excuses. Life really is busy. Money really does matter. You really are tired. The timing really could be better. So, you defer. You delay. You tell yourself this is temporary. But time does not care what story you tell yourself. It moves anyway, silently, constantly. without asking permission. The 25-year-old who is going to start next year becomes the 35-year-old who is still preparing. The 35-year-old becomes 45. The dream that felt urgent starts to feel unrealistic. The fire that once scared you starts to fade into something quieter. And eventually, the builder inside you stops knocking as loudly. Not because he died, because you kept telling him, not yet. And not yet, compounded over years, becomes never. That is how most men lose. Not in one dramatic moment, not with one obvious surrender. They lose through 10,000 small deferrals. Each one reasonable, each one explainable, each one another day handed to the settler. And the most dangerous part is this. A delayed life can still look responsible from the outside. You can pay bills, show up to work, smile at dinner, have people think you are doing fine, and still know, deep down, that the man who wanted more has been locked in the basement of your own life. Here is the truth. The right moment is not coming. It was never coming. The right moment is built, and the only way to build it is to start before the settler gives you permission. Section 4. The moment a man genuinely decides, something changes, not hopes, not plans, not talks about it, decides. There is a difference. A man who hopes still negotiates. A man who plans can still hide, but a man who decides burns the bridge back to the old conversation. He stops dividing his energy between two identities. Before that moment, every day is split. Some energy goes to the dream. Some energy goes to the doubt. Some energy goes to building. Some energy goes to explaining why he cannot build yet. Some energy goes to the future. Some energy goes to protecting the comfort of the present. That division exhausts a man. It makes him tired before he even starts. Because he is not fighting the world yet, he is fighting himself. But the moment he decides, the settler does not disappear. He just stops getting fed. And a settler who is not fed gets weaker. Day by day, choice by choice, action by action. This is where momentum begins. Not in the result, in the decision. Not when the money comes. Not when the body changes. Not when people notice. Momentum starts when you stop asking the weaker version of yourself for permission. That decision is usually quiet. It does not look cinematic. It does not need an announcement. It does not need a new notebook, a new plan, a new identity post, or a dramatic speech. It looks like a man alone in a room doing the thing he said he would do, before the feeling arrives, before the confidence appears, before the timing makes sense. That is where the war turns. The first brother did not start because he felt fearless. He started while fear was still talking. He moved while the settler was still giving reasons. He acted before the comfortable voice finished its argument. That is the difference. Not fearlessness. Obedience. Not to fear. To the builder. Section 5. Here is what nobody tells you about this war. Winning does not mean the builder wins every day. It does not mean the settler disappears. It does not mean you wake up every morning clear, disciplined, focused, and ready to dominate. That is fantasy. Real men still get tired. Real men still lose focus. Real men still have days where the phone wins, the excuse wins, the comfort wins. That does not mean the war is over. It means one battle was lost. The men who build great things are not men who never lose a battle. They are men who never surrender the war. That is the difference. Average men lose one day and turn it into an identity. Disciplined men lose one day and return the next morning without drama. No self-pity, no emotional collapse, no speech about how they are broken. They just cast another vote for the builder again. Because the war is not won in your best moments. Anyone can move when they are motivated. Anyone can train when they feel strong. Anyone can work when life is quiet and energy is high. The real vote happens in the worst moment. When you are tired. When the settler is loud. When every excuse makes sense. When nobody would blame you for stopping. And you move anyway. That one moment is worth more than 100 motivated mornings. Because it tells your brain something permanent. We do not stop. Not when it is hard. Not when we are tired. Not when the timing is wrong. Not when nobody is watching. We do not stop. That is who we are. And once that becomes identity, the settler can still speak, but he cannot rule. You will hear him. You will recognize him. You will know exactly what he is. Fear dressed up as wisdom, trying one more time to keep you small. And you will move anyway. Every man who ever built something real fought this war. Every man who became someone his younger self would respect fought this war. They were not special. They were not fearless. They were not waiting for perfect conditions. They simply refused to let the settler write the ending. You have a builder inside you. He has been there your entire life, patient, angry, silent, waiting for you to stop feeding the voice that wants comfort and start feeding the voice that wants truth. Start today, not Monday, not next month, not when life calms down. Today, one decision, one vote. One action that proves the builder is still alive. Let it compound. This channel gives you one idea per week for the man you are building. Subscribe if you are done letting the settler make decisions for a life he never had the courage to build. No plan B, no excuses. I will see you in the next one.